Oh, where has this been the entire time?
Feels so good.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Feels so good.
Oh my God, it feels so good. Feels so good when you treat me like no other. No other. Feels so good when you call me your lover. Your lover. Feels so good. One lucky brother. Lucky brother. It feels so good. Oh yeah. It feels so good.
Hi everybody and welcome back to another live YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about Queen Sono. Queen Sono was created by Kagiso of Catching Feelings and Madwedwe. It stars Pearl Thusi, Loisa Mading, it stars Vio Dabula, Abigail Kubega, and yeah, amongst many other names. And Queen Sono is basically a show that follows a spy who goes around Africa in general, and that's what it was marketed as an African show, not just a South African show. And she goes down cracking down on these corrupt operations and dealings that are happening around, while also, dealing with her own personal stuff. Before I get into anything else, the first thing I want to say about not just Queen Sono, but all these other shows that we've been getting on Netflix is I very, very much appreciate and like the fact that they're a breath of fresh air. We're getting different genres that we're not necessarily getting on national television, and even though those genres are some things that we've seen internationally, but the fact that we're getting to do more of that locally, like spy, espionage types of shows, or thrillers and teenage drama shows like that are very much focused on that type of genre, or even like procedurals, which is Shadow. It's very interesting to see shows that veer off from the traditional telenovela, family drama, family feud type of things that we've been getting on television, which is, I'm not knocking that, I'm just saying exploring that, and Netflix giving a platform for those types of shows is something that I really, really appreciate. And then the next point that I want to go into, which is almost like an automatic mark for almost everybody at this point in the industry, is like the production value of these shows. Once again, not just the Queen Sono, Shadow, and also Blood and Water, is like they're very good. The production value is very high. You can tell that there was a budget for this. You can tell that the budget was used at the very least decently. They look good. The production value, the production design is good. It's shot well. And by the way, when I say shot well, I don't mean the cinematography is great. I just mean it's shot well. It looks appealing. And the sound, the mix, everything is, technically looks good. And then if you like neglecting all the other aspects. So those are the two biggest points that I want to I don't know whether give credit to Netflix or the creators or whatever, but that is something that I really appreciate. But then moving on to that, I just want to move on to my biggest gripe, which is something that I'm starting to see a pattern with once again all these Netflix shows, is the writing is not that strong. I could say I am disappointed with the writing. While on the writing, I just want to focus more on just the pilot. The pilot episodes for all these three shows that we've gotten have been like very weak in my opinion, ranging from bad to most bad to just like least bad being Blood and Water, it wasn't a bad pilot episode, but it wasn't a great pilot episode either. These are shows, the way the pilot episodes are written, they don't get you intrigued and gripped from the beginning. You kind of have to be like dedicated to watching and finishing the show in order for you to realize that, oh, this is actually a good show or not, or whatever the case is. And that's kind of not a good thing. The entire point of a pilot episode or first episode is to reel you in from the beginning, whether you committed or not. It has to get you interested enough to be like, yo, I want to see how this is going to finish out or how this is going to pan out. And these shows haven't been pretty good with that. If you're not committed, you're literally going to ditch the show halfway. And then while still on the writing and the pilot episode specifically, Queen Sono specifically, right, this show is not very strong with the first few episodes, 1, 2, 3 that I'm talking about. There's no scene that actually works from episode 1 to 3. It only starts from 4, which episode 4 is the first greatest episode in this show. That's when I was like, oh, where has this been the entire time? When I got to episode 4, it's sort of like a flashback episode. It gives context. It shows you where these relationships are stemming from, who Queen Sono really is, and how did she really get here. The entire time we get like glimpses and whatnot, but with episode 4, it actually gives you more context, more meat. You get to see the background of most characters, and it's so self-contained. When I was watching it, I was like, this should have been the first episode. This should have been the pilot episode. It's such a good episode, and it's so self-contained that, yes, you don't have to start with a backstory every time you start a show. I'm not saying that's what should happen, but in the case of Queen Sono, starting with episode 4, in my opinion at least, piece, not changing anything else about it, just rearranging the episode and putting it as episode 1 and then carrying on as it would have made for a stronger, flow-wise, feel-wise, pace-wise, you would have been more interested from the get-go, which is what I feel like that wasn't the case. And like I said, the writing, the scenes don't work. There's a lot of scenes that they don't capitalize on, where you can tell by the end of the episode that, oh, this is what they were trying to do, this is what they were trying to lead us to. But there's so many missed opportunities with those scenes where they don't capitalize on the stakes, they don't capitalize on even just emphasis on, yo, this is what we're trying to show you. They have to, once again, which is what I complained about Blood and Water, they have to sort of like dictate to the screen that, now look what you've done, blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh wait, what? Like, you know, you could have just shown me that and it was going to work absolutely perfectly, you know, because there's in essence what the story is about. It's very entertaining and interesting, and just the setting of the show and the genre. So I feel like there were a lot of missed opportunities with Queen Sono, and that's like my biggest problem with the show, because television is a very writing heavy medium. You know, you have to make sure that your pen is very sharp, and as you know, so that is something that I kind of do feel like, okay, these were the weakest parts of Queen Sono, my biggest rather gripes. And other things that I kind of like didn't like was like some of the directing. So as I mentioned, from episode 1 to 3, I'm not really happy about those episodes, but when it goes episodes 4, 5 and 6, it's like, wow, I want to see a season. Suddenly, you know, I watched it and I was like, it almost feels like two different shows. You know, the level, the narrative quality in them, it almost feels like two different shows, where you're like, now I really want to see what happens from here onwards, and I want a season 2. Had it started like this from get-go, this would have arguably, you know, been a very, very amazing show. And it is Queen Sono is a very amazing show. Some of the acting is pretty good, and it gets better, like I say, in the second half of the season 1. It's a different beast. All the things that, in my opinion, I feel like they botched in the first half of the season. Second season, from the stunts were horrible, episode 1 to 3. But episode 4, 5 and 6, you're like, wow, everything is believable, everything is clean, everything is pristine. The acting, once again, is so good. It's like you don't feel that cringiness and that awkwardness that was even in the dialogue. You know, the actors kind of know how to handle the dialogue. And once again, I do not know the order of how these episodes were shot. I just feel like from episode 4, 5 and 6, this is great. This is something I really want to stick around for, and that's something that I'm looking forward to. It makes me look forward to like season 2. But yeah, I had a problem with some of the directing and some of the casting choices, because Queen Sono, the actor who plays the character is Pearl Tusi, obviously, and Pearl Tusi is not a bulk person. Pearl Tusi is a very slim and slender person, and if you're gonna cast someone like her in such a role where she's a spy, I mean, just being a spy sort of just lends you to be a person who is more brains over brawn, and I didn't feel that with Queen Sono. I felt like they were trying to balance out brains and brawn, where she had to get physical a lot, and I was like, not really, there's not really a need for that to happen. She's not James Bond, and she can get away with a few things here and there, but that's why episode 1 to 3, some of the stunts were not really good. If you can see, just you know, it's like, I don't believe this. I know that my suspense of disbelief is suspended, you know. So because of just who is being cast in the role, and just knowing that, okay, we can't really pull this off with such a person, maybe let's focus on it being more of a smart show, you know, or rather a smart character, a character who works her way into trouble and out of trouble, using mostly her brain instead of having to get into physical fights and stuff like that. And that's what I say when I say casting. Another point on casting, once again, was there's a secondary character, a supporting character who's played by Louisa Madinga. When the show started, I thought, because it's a spy show, he had a cover, you know, they're in another country, so he has a cover, and he had an accent. Well, the entire show he does have an accent. The character is actually a Congolese character, which is still confusing me, still escapes me even namanje. Why would you cast a Xhosa actor to play a Congolese character? So here's the thing, he had to have an accent, a Congolese accent in the show, and it was not impressive. And this is not a dig at Loiso Madinga. Having an accent as an actor in a movie or show or anything is a very, very difficult thing. Even some of the best actors have failed many times. With Brad Pitt, the Leonardo DiCaprios have failed to try and, you know, imitate a specific accent. So if you know that, you know, this person might need a lot of work to do that, either change the character, which in this case I felt like there was absolutely no need for the character character to be Congolese. I watched the whole show trying to figure out, why does this character have to be Congolese? And I couldn't figure that out. I was like, well, you could have just made the character either closer or just literally just ambiguous. You don't have to tell us what the character's nationality or tribe or language is. Just let them speak English. They're in South Africa. Who cares, honestly? And even the storyline, the specific character storyline, it doesn't need the character to be Congolese. And these are problems that I kind of have, these are things that I kind of had problems with. Why is this the case? You know, now we have bad acting, and not necessarily bad acting, he's a great actor, but the accent takes so much away from his acting, the accent, because he's not great at it, and I don't expect him to be. He's not Congolese. Why did the character have to be Congolese? So all these choices, there's a lot of choices within the show that I was like, why? I had a lot of whys, and even after finishing the show, I'm like, I don't get why. And so yeah, that's like the things that I kind of, you know, had problems with. And this is just sort of me like unpacking why Queen Sono didn't fully work for me, and I was very excited for this show, especially because Kagiso Letigh is one of my favorite directors in South Africa at the moment. Catching Feelings, you guys saw the review, I loved that movie. Matwetwe, I loved Matwetwe, and we all did, right? But when it came to this show, I guess I had high hopes, and I wasn't really quite satisfied until, you know, near the end, where I was like, where has this been? This is what I came to see, and I am looking forward to season 2 simply because of just how Queen Sono season 1 ended. But I wasn't really very happy about it overall. If I wasn't who I was, I'm not sure whether I was gonna come back for season 2. But because I am, you know, I can tell that, okay, if treated well, it can get better from here onward. But apart from that, apart from just those gripes, and like, this is mostly a video just me explaining why Queen Sono didn't work for me. It's more that than a review, why it didn't really work for me and why I have kind of my problems with it, because I've seen Kagiso do pretty well, and he directed 3 episodes, and Tebogo Malopo directed 3 other episodes. So episode 1 and 2 Kagiso, episode 6 is Kagiso, and then 3, 4, and 5 Tebogo. And once again, I can't tell whose strengths lie where. I think with Tebogo, he's more of an action-driven director, because with those are the episodes that the stunts were pretty good, the action was pretty good, and sometimes even the flow. But episode 6 was like a very great episode, you know, and it's one of the best, maybe top 2 best of the entire season. And that was Kagiso. So I don't know, once again, how they approached the entire production, but whatever they did, and if you guys are watching this, whatever you did from episode 4, 5, and 6, if you can bring more of that in season 2, this can be like a very amazing show in my opinion. Everything else, I was fine with it, honestly. I was cool, not too happy about it, but those are the things that I kind of like had like major problems with, and that's why for me it kind of like you know, like it could have, because it has a lot of meat, and just by genre, but also the story that they follow, Sika Queen Sono, and just her own personal problems that she's going through. And it's almost like it kind of references things that happen in history. These are things that are very meaty, but I feel like were not capitalized on, and I can't even delve into them in this review because they were not capitalized on. So yeah, guys, that's basically about it. Tell me your opinion of Queen Sono. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you disagree with anything I said? I know people loved it, and I'm not saying don't like it because of this review. I'm just saying how I felt about it. Comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. If you didn't hate this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Please make sure you like this video. It helps my videos become like more discoverable. Comment. I know most people have seen Queen Sono at this point, so I know a lot of you will have like a mouthful to say. If you disagree with anything, disagree, feel free. And if you agree with anything, do that, and please share this video with anyone who you think might be interested in seeing it. And yeah, I will be reviewing Shadow next, so that will be in the next video after this one. So stay tuned for that. There's more stuff still coming. Yeah, guys, that's basically about it. Don't forget to like the video. If you like it, if you don't hate it, like it. If you hate it, ignore it. Just pretend you never saw it and just don't even dislike it. That's basically about it, guys, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video.
Can you tell? I'm waiting for you, just follow I'm waiting for you, just follow me. Can you tell my body's moving slow? And I just can't take my eyes off you.